by Bridget Mananavia. Former Higher and Tertiary Education Minister Jonathan Moyo, pictured, says he is not holed up in Kenya, but still kept his whereabouts a secret for fear of his life. Former Higher Education Minister Jonathan Moyo: I'm on Twitter, not in Kenya. It's an open secret that ZANU-PF putschists are insecure in the military coup. Imagine I'm in Kenya. I want me to be in Kenya so they can send the murderous SAS there after their attempt to assassinate me in Harare on the 15th of November 2017. Moyo wrote in his latest post on Twitter. Putschists is a German word meaning push. It means an attempt to overthrow a government by force. The sharp-tongued politician has been a pain in the backside for President Emerson Mnangagwa's government ever since he skipped the country last November to escape being apprehended by the army. This was after the military stormed out of the barracks to allegedly deal with criminals around former President Robert Mugabe, who ended up resigning to stymie an impeachment motion that had been set off in Parliament. Among the criminals, Moyo had the biggest prize on his head. The former cabinet minister previously revealed that he was saved by Mugabe and his wife as the army bayed for his blood. Moyo accompanied the revelation with pictures of his Harare home, which had blood-stained floors supposedly as a result of the torture he was allegedly subjected to while in military captivity. Special thanks to President Mugabe and to my Dr. Mugabe for saving us when the junta tried to kill us on the 15th of November, he wrote on Twitter back then. Recently, Moyo was at it again, criticizing Mnangagwa for paying a visit to MDC leader Morgan Tsvangirai. He tweeted, "This is no PR coup and no history. It's ambulance-chasing propaganda for the optics of exploiting the poor health of a terminally ill political rival. The propaganda is cynical, crude, desperate and un-African. It intrudes into, violates a constitutionally protected right to privacy." But a state media columnist, Bishop Lazarus, wrote over the weekend that Moyo had no moral ground to criticize Mnangagwa over the visit. Bishop Lazarus said Moyo was still buried in the toxic Generation 40 G40 politics. "We all know Tsvangirai is not well, and so when the president and his VP visited him, the sober people of the world applauded the move, saying, 'This is Ubuntu at its best.' My good brother Nelson Chamisa hailed the gesture as new politics," he opined. Bishop Lazarus also hinted that when Moyo escaped Zimbabwe, he might have left his family in the care of Mugabe. Professor Moyo is not qualified to preach to us about being un-African. There is no African man who abandons his wife and kids when in trouble. African men stand for and with the wives and kids in times of trouble. But what did the professor do during Operation Restore Legacy? He dumped his wife, a foreigner for that matter, and his kids at former President Mugabe's house, leaving even a mentally challenged son in the care of a 93-year-old man. Hakuna Baba Vakadaro. Mu Africa, the columnist wrote, Professor Moyo wants to preach to us about being un-African. Is there any real African man who would dump his family to save his skin? Iko Kusanyara, your wife is from Kenya. Iwe were mutais uchi mhanyaku Kenya. Wakad saranate vara kutichi. What did you tell your in-laws? Wakatim wana wavo arapi. Moyo is currently under investigation for allegedly siphoning over $400,000 from the Zimbabwe Manpower Development Fund. Mnangagwa has said he has forgiven G40 kingpins apart from three former ministers, namely Saviour Kasukuwe, Patrick Duwayo and Moyo. Whatever wrong we might have done to you, we need to forgive. I have forgiven the cabal and they are in the country except for only three who remain outside and still saying funny things, but all that will soon come to an end, Mnangagwa said. Newly appointed Women's Affairs Secretary in ZANU-PF Mabel Chinamona has called on government to make sure that Moyo, Kasukuwe and Duwayo are extradited back onto the country to face corruption charges. We will not rest until these people are brought back and face the full wrath of the law. What they are saying from wherever they are is not helping matters, Chinamona said at the party's extraordinary congress last month. Daily News.